welcome back to Haunted the Collector, and something of a unique video this one, in so much as this is going to be, I think, one of the first videos that gets broken up into parts. So this obviously being part one, and there is no way I'm going to get everything done in this video, and given the events of early hours of this morning, I think we're going to roll potentially into not only just a part two but a part three. So yes, basically I'm going to be going through all the pieces I've had arrive in 2022, and I'm going to just be chatting about them quickly, and obviously I'm going to put them in the order of my absolute favourite piece to arrive this year, all the way down to the piece that, I don't want to say it's my least favourite because that sounds wrong, but I can't think of another way of putting it, but basically the one that is more of a meh, or had more issues, or just didn't blow me away. So yeah, so I'm going to be starting at the bottom and working up. So the very last piece that I will discuss on video episode 2 or potentially episode 3 will be my favourite. Now, for those of you who don't know, I've got 8 pieces currently in the house that have all come this year, so I thought it's going to be too long a video to get them all in, because I did a poll recently, not a poll, I did a questionnaire recently where I asked any of you if you had any questions to ask me, and I'd cover in a future video. Now I think what I'm going to do is, because there's going to be so much to cram in now in the next sort of 3-4 weeks, I'm going to incorporate them questions as I go through each and every piece, you see. That's what I'm going to do. So that's going to lengthen them a little bit. So I thought, I've got 8 pieces in the house I need to talk about, so I'll do 2 videos, 4 pieces in each video. Sound like a good idea? But then I got not 1 but 2 emails off Prime One at early hours of Friday morning. Both the Frodo and Gollum piece by Prime One and the Behemoth 3rd scale Jungle Hunter Predator. Payments for both are coming up very, very soon, which means they're going to be shipping very, very soon. So both have a very good chance of arriving here this year. Oh God, the amount of videos I'm going to have to do. So yeah, and not forgetting, of course, my Queen Studios Balrog has shipped. It shipped weeks ago, and it's somewhere on the sea, so that could arrive any time, any day. And also the Doors of Durin from Weta, I had to email and ask them, but apparently that's due to ship any day now as well. So potentially I've still got 4 pieces, so we could well have a part 3. Starting with all my pieces, so these are all the pieces that arrived here in the Haunt in 2022, and I'm going to be going from the bottom of the scale, working my way all the way up to my absolute favourite piece. Got any idea what you think the piece at the bottom of the pile will be? Any ideas? Any ideas? Well, I tell you what, why don't we go and have a look and see if you were right. In last place, so to speak, really. How many of you guessed this one? Yeah, the Argonath by Weta Workshop. For those of you who saw the unboxing and certainly the review, I always felt that the price tag on this was heavy, exceptionally heavy actually. I was quite polite on the review. And when I received this, I've got to be honest, as I said on the review, or the unboxing, I can't remember which, I was underwhelmed by the size of this. A lot of people saying they were surprised how big this was. I was the opposite end of the pole. I was quite underwhelmed by it, to be honest with you. I appreciate it's the Argonath. It's a huge key scene, which is why I'm no intention of getting rid of this piece. I'm happy to keep it. I'm not bothered with issues that have been pointed out by other collectors, which I myself didn't pick up on. It was N2 Darkness who messaged me and told me about the seam line across the water. But it just goes to add to issues that I already had with it. And certainly now with the Helm's Deep piece coming out with its price tag, it just goes to show how incredibly overpriced this is. And yeah, so a combination of being overpriced, underwhelmed, and issues. This one, I'm afraid, is in last place. But it's an iconic scene. I don't regret buying. I don't regret buying any of the pieces I've got. Let me make that perfectly clear. But something has to come last, and I have to say this was an easy choice. This was really an easy choice to put in last place. I have no intention of getting rid of it ever, because it's the Argonath. You know what I mean? It's the Argonaut. It's like a key scene from the film. Everybody recognises it, and it's, yeah. Anyway, sorry, Weta Workshop. I'm afraid 2022. You dropped the ball a bit on this one, I'm afraid. But hey, here we go. Onwards and upwards. So there you go. How many of you guessed that one correctly? Honestly, how many of you? Let me know. Let me know if you got that one right. On to the next piece. Which one do you think it's going to be? I'm guessing you've probably got a bit of a better idea what this one's going to be. I don't think this is going to surprise any of you. Okay, here we go. Next piece. Okay, so here we are. Probably for any regular viewers of the channel, this one is probably a little bit more expected by you. Sadly, next in line is the Lertz piece. Again, I don't want to keep going over old ground. Please go and watch the review and the unboxing of this if you want to know more. But, oh, it looks awful. I don't have to look at it when it's on that shelf so much. I just look at him. One of the worst bases I've ever seen on the statue. In my collection, it is the worst base I've ever seen on the statue. And unfortunately, Lertz came out underscaled as well. And I was asked a question. On the questions that I was asked, somebody asked me a question. Did I know, or what did I think as to why Lertz came out as being underscaled? Unfortunately, I don't know the reason why, but I can hazard a guess given at the Tokyo Comic-Con. One of the people from Prime One had said that the Boromir piece was 10% overscaled because there was some issue with the 3D printing of the mould. It had overscaled it slightly. I can only therefore hazard a guess that that issue happened with this. I don't know, it only was underscaled. And maybe they were just too far down the production line before they noticed. Maybe they didn't even notice. I don't know. I would be surprised that they didn't notice. But so I have to assume it was, production was too far along and they decided to ship it out anyway. Shame really, because Lertz himself is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love him, which is why. Now, a while back I discussed about potentially selling Lertz on. Potentially selling him on. And I had 3 people come forward. Now, I've contacted 2 of them. The third one, I'm ever so sorry. I apologise. I can't remember your name and I can't remember how you messaged me. I've got hold of me. I've been through all my messages. I can't find it, but I got a lot of messages. Certainly for the short term, I'm not going to be getting rid of Lertz. He's not going to be leaving here for a while. The reason for that being, one, I like him. I really like how he looks on the shelves with Sauron and the Berserker over there. So I've decided I've got a little project. I've got a little project planned next year. And I think it's going to be really good, really interesting. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. And that's coming in 2023. The Lertz project. That's it for this one. Move on to the next one, shall we? Oof, I've got a headache. There we go, old Lertzy boy. I don't think many of you were too surprised about that one. Unfortunately, I can't stand the base. And it came out underscaled as well. Let's crack on because there's a heck of a lot to get through. And yeah, you know what I'm like for waffling and going off on a tangent. So the next piece. Here we go. Right, so here's the next piece. Aragorn. One of the questions I was asked, which piece was I sort of excited about getting or nervous about getting, but I was kind of blown away about. Now this answer to this covers 2 things. It covers this one marginally because there was so much concern and hassle going on about the portrait of Aragorn. And when he arrived and I took it out of the box, again, go and see the unboxing if you haven't seen it, I was just so pleased that the portrait came out well. It was just, as we know, it was bad photos. Aragorn himself, again, I think is absolutely spectacular. And yeah, the Army of the Dead. Unfortunately, though, it's the rest of the base. You take the Army of the Dead off, the rest of the base is is not great. And with so many pieces coming at not just the end of this year, but also next year, I've had to make decisions about letting pieces go for display space, no other reason. And I'm afraid you all know, because I'm going to open this up to subscribers for this channel first, give you first dibs, so to speak. I am in the new year going to be selling Aragorn at some point. Let me just clarify, I am in no rush to sell him, but he will certainly be leaving the Haunt in 2023, I'm afraid to say. If any of you are interested, please contact me. I can tell you now, this, by the way, is the regular edition. This hasn't got the extra portraits. I'm happy to sell this to a subscriber for 900 quid. £900, I can send you all the information I had when I got him, the prices, what I paid for shipping, import fees. So certainly for UK customers, £900 is a good deal. And I don't think you're going to find it cheaper than that anywhere else. Not that I've seen anyway. So I'll do it 900 quid. And then obviously, wherever you are in the UK or the world or whatever, we need to get the shipping quote. So I'll get the shipping quote from FedEx, DHL, whoever, send it to you, and then that's it. So it'll be £900 plus the shipping, whatever that is. Sad to let him go, but I've got to be realistic. I've got some huge pieces coming in next year. There's also a couple of other things I'm looking at in 2023, which I don't want to say now because I don't want to spoil the surprise. And a few little things have got to be swapped and changed around. With the half-scale Witch King coming, I'm looking at bigger scale pieces now as well. So, yeah, I don't want to say too much now because there's a lot of this stuff, like with the alerts and things. I've got stuff planned for 2023, guys. I'm going to start doing things a little bit different. There'll still be all the normal unboxings and everything else and pieces coming in, and you know all the pre-orders I've got in, so that will all be the same. But yeah, I've got to start being ruthless with things that are maybe not as crazy as potentially things coming in the future. So yeah, Aragorn. So there we have it, guys. Unfortunately, Aragorn, I don't want to get rid of pieces from the collection, but I've got so much stuff coming in next year. There were always going to be pieces that were coming in and were going to be shipped on just to make room for other pieces. It's, as I've said, it's a case of I want my collection to incorporate the best pieces I can get for whichever character I decide to go with and keep. Right, let's get on. This is the final piece for this part 1 video of arrivals for 2022. I haven't even thought what I'm going to call this video yet. I just know it's part 1, and this is the last piece of part 1. So here we go. Jeez. Okay, final piece of part 1 of this video, which I still haven't got a title for yet. Anyway, I haven't thought. I've just flown into this today, as I do. The only piece to arrive broken thus far, these spikes here had broke on the shield, which I've managed to fix them and repair them. I still need to sort this little bit out here. Got a resolution that I was perfectly happy with. Prime 1 gave me $100 in reward points for that. I'm happy with that. Again, all this stuff is on the unboxing and on the review, guys. So if you haven't seen them, please pop and see them. And yeah, and to go back to the question I sort of spoke about on the previous one, it really more applies to this. It was just, I wanted to just bring the Aragorn portrait into the conversation. This one, it was strange because this Legolas piece was the only piece I didn't pre-order on day 1. It was about 2 months later because I wasn't sure that I wanted it. I wasn't quite sure, and I pre-ordered it, and it was not long before it was sort of coming up to the time it was due to ship, and I was looking at some photos. I think it was at some con or something like that, and somebody taken some photographs of the production piece, and I can remember saying on one of my videos, guys, this piece looks really good. This piece looks really good. And when he arrived, I was just blown away at how good it was. And not just that, how much I liked it for a piece that initially I was like, no, I'll probably get it just to... And then when it came out, I can remember I was just, and still am, so impressed with this piece that the posing they've gone from this, and once again Prime One's ability to do flowing robes and get textures of cloth is second to none. They really are the masters of that. And yeah, just an incredible piece, and I'm so impressed with this piece. This was the one that pleasantly surprised me the most of everything that's come this year. I mean, I've been blown away by so many pieces, but this was the one that I really stepped back and thought, whoa, that is good. So good, in fact, at the time before this actually turned up here, I was in two minds about the half-scale Infinity Legolas. When I got this, I was like, nope, don't need to think about that one. Forget that one. I'm happy with this one. This is more than good enough. So this is the final piece for this video, and part one is Legolas. So there we go. I'll pop you back to me on the sofa and we'll wrap this part one video up, guys. There we go. So that's the first 4 statues. Now, this is really only kind of a loose list because I don't know if this is going to be part 1 of 2 videos or part 1 of 3 videos, because I can't know exactly when pieces are going to arrive. I know I've got 4 pieces on the way. I hope for part 1 that's been okay. Say there's a lot more to come, part 2, and I say potentially we're going to have a part 3 as well. So I'm doing the best I can with what I've got here at the moment and what may well arrive before the end of the year. Oh my God. Anyway, listen guys, anything at all, shove it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you all. What do you think to the part 1? What do you think to my rankings so far? Let me know. Obviously, if you've enjoyed the video, guys, please show it by giving it a like. Hugely appreciated. And also, if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel because it's a massive help. Right, I'm going to go and think about, well, edit this video and then think about all the other videos I've got to do. Be a really busy few weeks coming up now. There's a lot to do. 4 pieces. Imagine if they all arrive on the same day. Right, I'll catch you all in the next video. Take care, and as ever, thank you very much for watching. Ta-ra, guys.